We've seen devils travel between Hell and Earth, but we still don't know where Hell is. The reason this is such a big deal is because Yoru wants to bring back nukes by killing Chainsaw Man. But we know from Makima that if Chainsaw Man eats a devil, then their name is erased from Earth and Hell. So how can you bring back something that's been entirely erased from existence? The only possible explanation is that devils, or the fears that create devils, exist separately from our universe, and that Chainsaw Man doesn't erase them from all of the universes in existence. In other words, Hell and Earth are two separate universes, which means that we have to completely rethink how we view the world of Chainsaw Man. I know this might seem like a pretty big stretch, but just hear me out. When you started Chainsaw Man, you probably assumed Hell was just Hell, the bad place where bad people go. But in the world of Chainsaw Man, there's almost nothing to suggest that Hell is some kind of afterlife. Devils go there when they die on Earth, but that's part of their endless cycle of reincarnation. We've never seen or been told that humans go there when they die. Not to mention, the Hell that we see is nothing like it's described in the Bible. Now obviously we can't say there's no influence from the Bible, considering the Four Horsemen and the hierarchy of angels. But at this point, the idea that Hell in Chainsaw Man is some kind of metaphysical realm of the afterlife has no evidence to support it. This means Yoru can't just magically revive devils or bring them to Earth, because their actions are subject to reality. In fact, devils and their powers have always been presented as reality, as opposed to some kind of magic. Lives can be sold or turned into weapons, but there's no mention of souls or aura, which would normally imply that they obey the laws of physics, except that reincarnation and the literal ability to feed off the fear of others definitely does not obey the laws of physics. At least not our laws of physics. But if devils were from another universe with different laws of physics, then this would actually explain their powers. Remember how in Gravity Falls, Ford thought all of the anomalies came from another dimension? It's the same idea here. The devils are anomalies in our universe because they're subject to the laws of physics of another universe. This is where we can start to see how Hell is actually another universe. And if Hell is another universe, then the devils that are erased could still be revived if they exist somewhere in another universe. But it also means that Yoru's plans are subject to the limitations of multiverse theory. Now, I'm just going to take a wild guess here and say that your physics teacher in high school neglected to mention multiverse theory. And since scientists still haven't quite figured it out themselves, I'm just going to give you a very basic rundown. We all know about the Big Bang. Our universe was a bunch of hot, dense gas, and then suddenly it started expanding. It was during this time that whatever caused the Big Bang gave birth to the laws of physics as we now know them. But what if the Big Bang didn't just create one system? What if it simultaneously created multiple systems, each with slight variations in the laws of physics? This would mean that as all that matter and energy expanded, these variations would lead to slightly altered versions of our universe. That's how we get multiverse theory and the idea that there are parallel universes. Now, before I explain what this means for Chainsaw Man, I want to just give a quick shout out to this comment of the week from my last video. If you'd like me to share your comment in the next video, then just make sure to share your thoughts on the Chainsaw Man multiverse down below. But like I was saying, in the world of Chainsaw Man, this means that our universe, which we can refer to as Earth, and the Devil's universe, which we can refer to as Hell, are two simultaneously existing universes. Obviously, this makes sense because the devils seem to defy our laws of physics. But it also makes sense when you consider that devils and humans only ever seem to be in one universe in one given moment. For example, in the International Assassins arc, the characters went back and forth between Hell and Earth, and they were only in one place in one given time. This is because Hell and Earth aren't different timelines. They're parallel universes that exist simultaneously in the same timeline. But that's where we run into the problem I mentioned at the start of the video. We know that Hell and Earth are two simultaneously existing universes. For devils, this means that they reincarnate in one universe or the other. But let's say they don't die, and they're actually erased from existence. Then they shouldn't exist at all, not in Hell or in Earth. But see, that's where we have to question this whole system. In Chapter 6, Makima explains that each devil has a name, and their power is equal to however much people fear that name. So the implication is that devils get their power from the fear of humans, the people of Earth. But we also know that Chainsaw Man is the devil that devils fear. This, along with the fact that Chainsaw Man is apparently stronger than pretty much any other devil besides the primordial devils, implies that devils also get their power from the fear of devils. So devils get their power not just from the beings of one universe, but from the beings of multiple universes. In this case, Hell and Earth. But what if it's not just Hell and Earth? What if there isn't just one Earth universe, but there's 2 or 3 or even 10? We've already established that there's a Chainsaw Man multiverse, but we don't know how far it extends. This is where we have to talk about the measurement problem and the many worlds theory of quantum mechanics. In quantum mechanics, when you measure a system, so let's say an electron, you actually change that system. This is what scientists call the measurement problem, because as soon as you go to measure something, it changes. Fortunately, the measurement problem can be somewhat solved by entanglement. Entanglement is the idea that when systems are related or they influence each other, knowing the outcome in one tells you the outcome in the other. Say I flip a coin once, and I know there's only 2 outcomes. If I know I got heads in one case, then I know for a fact I got tails in the other case. That right there is a very simplified version of entanglement. What it means, at least according to the many worlds theory, is that every time you make a decision, you've just created another universe. If it's still hard to wrap your head around, just think back to the Fractured Timelines episode of Rick and Morty, which, funny enough, they actually reference with Schrodinger's cat. Now, in the context of Chainsaw Man, this actually explains how devils can still exist after they've been erased by Chainsaw Man. Because if Chainsaw Man erases the Nuke Devil in one universe, then under the many worlds theory, there's actually another universe where Chainsaw Man didn't erase them. So, for example, let's say that Denji, we know, lives in Earth 1. At the very least, there's another universe that we can call Earth 2 where the Nuke Devil was never erased. Because the devils get their power from multiple universes, that would mean the Nuke Devil still exists thanks to the fear of humans in Earth 2, just in some kind of weakened state. So, assuming this is the case, that means you can never really completely erase a devil because the fear of that devil will always exist in some other universe. Now, I'm sure even in the broader multiverse theory, the idea that the many worlds theory applies to Chainsaw Man seems like a pretty big stretch. But this is where I actually disagree. The first hint that the many worlds theory is used in Chainsaw Man is the way Hell is presented. When the Hell Devil brings Denji to Hell in chapter 84, we see a hand reach out from a door, which is the same process we see in the International Assassins arc. And during that arc, Hell has a sky that's endlessly covered in doors. When Denji comes back from Hell, he exits through the exact same door. So the implication is that there is a direct portal between Hell and Earth. Now, as far as where the other doors lead, this is where Look Back comes in. Look Back is one of Fujimoto's many great one-shots. So if you don't want any spoilers, then just skip to this point in the video. But for those of you who follow Fujimoto, you know that he likes to reference his other works and repurpose similar ideas. Makima enjoys movies just like the characters in Fire Punch, and Nayuta has the same name as the character in another story of that same name. So clearly he's no stranger to using ideas from his other stories. But here's where Look Back comes in. In Look Back, the main character is able to interact with a parallel universe through a door. In the main universe, her friend died, but in the parallel universe, she managed to save her friend. And the only way to interact with the other universe was through this door. So what if Fujimoto is using the same idea in Chainsaw Man? What if, just like in Look Back, the doors in Chainsaw Man are all portals to parallel universes? It's not a definitive answer, but it would explain how a devil can still exist when they depend on the fear that has apparently been erased in Denji's universe. I know I'm throwing a lot of information at you right now, so let's just go through this one more time. The world of Chainsaw Man consists of its very own multiverse. You can call this the Chainsaw Man multiverse theory or the Hellverse theory. In this multiverse, Hell and Earth are parallel universes in the same timeline. But there are parallel versions of the Earth universe that allow devils to still exist even after they've been eaten by Chainsaw Man. So not only can devils reincarnate, but someone like Yoru can always revive them even after they've been eaten by Chainsaw Man because there will always be a parallel version of them. This is the basic idea, and it pretty much covers everything. but it still obviously leaves a few questions unanswered. For example, we know the Hell Devil can travel between Hell and Earth, but besides him and the Spider Devil, we don't know how to travel between universes. On top of that, we saw the Darkness Devil come through one of the many doors in Hell, but we're told that he's never died. So he might have come from another part of that Hell, or he might have actually come from a parallel version of Hell. Unfortunately, we just don't know. Finally, this doesn't completely explain what happened to Nayuta and the Control Devil. There's obviously a lot more we still need to learn in part 2, but for now I just wanted to try and explain how Yoru could possibly bring back something that's been erased. While I certainly don't think it's the final answer, I strongly believe that what we have seen is only the beginning of Chainsaw Man's very own multiverse. And that's it for this discussion. Like I said, this is only the beginning of the conversation, so make sure to comment with your theories down below. If you did enjoy what I had to say, then make sure to let me know by liking the video. Now, if you're looking for other videos where I explore science and manga, then you have to check out my video on JJK. In that video, I explain why Gojo's abilities are almost exactly how you would see them in the real world. You can find that video in the playlist linked right here. Finally, don't forget to subscribe if you want to follow along with each week's video. With that all out of the way, thank you for watching, and I hope to hear from you soon.